Well, they're saying that we have about a credit card size worth of plastic in our body, is what they're saying.
And that'll buy you what? A cup of coffee?
I know some people that maybe have a couple credit cards worth. The way they work them.
Yeah. That's a fact.
We all probably have.
I feel like
somebody special.
I think I'm in debt, actually.
Oh, yeah. You've got
On
that
my
much.
card
You
plan.
got that much. Well, I mean, that's a big push.
I'm overdrawn.
We've got some big aluminum brands here in front, or just aluminum containers in front of us. And speaking of aluminum, our guest today on this episode of the Misfits Social Podcast is Mr. Andy Cohen. Good to have you, bud.
Well, it's great to be a part of this. It's I've been watching it. I've been listening to it. It's cool to finally be here.
Only after you got invited, right?
Only after I got invited.
That's how it works.
Well, yeah, I mean, for the couple years leading up to this, I actually kind of dogged the show and say, I don't know what you guys are listening to. They haven't had a good guest in years.
Yeah, we were like, if we want Andy to watch this, we've got to invite him. That's our way of winning him over as a fan.
Well, I mean, we were getting hit when we arrived and we were starting to talk as a group, like just different topics and things. I asked Royce, I was like, hey, what are you thinking about, like the setup, the way the sound is? And he's like, man, I'll be honest. He's like, I ain't listened to one in a little bit. I was like, all right, good feedback.
Hey, listen, you'd be your own worst critic anyways. You don't want that to happen.
It's true, Andy. It's true.
You don't want that to happen.
Yeah, man. So thanks for coming on. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you for having me.
So how's business been in the scrap world?
Listen, it's we're a small, nimble company, so we've been doing okay, holding in there. It's tougher. I think you're probably seeing that at Tungco and talking to other scrap companies, recycling companies out in the world. It's going. It's a little harder.
Is it competition or what? Why is it harder?
It's competition. The last few years have been real profitable, growing years, which tends to bring more people into the industry. And with that comes people who may not be good operators,
But they can sell something, right?
But they know how to. They can buy it and they can sell it. They just may not do it well. And so then when you get into a situation or an economy like now where it's just tougher, there's a lot more unknowns. Things that are coming about just make it harder.
Yeah.
It's bad in the sense of it makes your job harder, but it's good in the sense of these bad operators that really just were successful because the market continued to climb and climb and climb, now struggle. And
So like aluminum, what percentage of aluminum use is from recycle? Like we were talking about that with tungsten,
question, yeah.
Like you have primary source and secondary source. I'm acting like I know something about metal now.
Yeah, it's
hey,
you like the way I did that?
He's got a beard and he knows things.
Yeah.
I have questions.
And he remembers how things are said in previous episodes.
My education in metallurgy is what? Have we done 15 episodes?
Yeah,
right?
he's 15 episodes deep. Yeah.
Hey, listen, just act the part. Act the part. That's what matters. I would say, I don't have the exact number in front of me, and a lot of it depends on what aluminum you're talking about. There's really two main, I would say, aspects of aluminum. There's your wrought or rolled aluminum, which is a lot of your car bodies, aluminum cans, aluminum bottles, and then you have cast aluminum. The recycled content in cast aluminum tends to be higher, just because the type of material you're using to make that product, that casting kind of product, comes from scrap that isn't used as well. When you're making rolled aluminum for car bodies and cans, it's still a high content. I mean, I would say an aluminum can, or what they call a UBC, a used beverage container. It's upwards of probably 85-90% recycled
usable
content.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's going to be some prime.
Oh, the reuse. Okay.
Yeah, there's going to be some prime aluminum in there,
But cast concrete, more difficult to do.
Cast it's because it's alloyed. It has different elements in it. It's higher silicons, higher zincs, higher coppers, different elements in it. To get those type of items, they'll use more recycled type metals.
What are they doing with cast aluminum? I guess that I haven't even heard those two
engines.
okay.
Anything that's it's just the way the metal is, whether it's rolled or it's casted.
So an aluminum block that they start to make a car engine with, that's called cast.
Because it's because of the way it's made. It's casted.
Okay.
It's casted in a die.
Okay.
Formed that way, as opposed to like extrusion or rolling mill, which typically comes from a slab.
Yeah.
It's melted at the slab, and then they either roll it down or they, draw it through a die or something like that.
I mean, all the kitchen stuff, right? Stainless steel. Is there any aluminum in that stuff? No. Okay, totally different.
Okay, we're going to pause on questions for just a little bit.
Okay, thank you.
He just failed his first metallurgy
Hey, listen,
test
because
he just asked if aluminum.
Trying to get my
He
certification.
just took us to stainless.
Hey,
He's like, how much
one for two
aluminum?
is not bad so far. I mean, you're in the Hall of Fame.
He's like, I just got one more question.
Yeah. I got one
How
more
much
question.
aluminum
When is this
in
over?
stainless steel? The answer is in the name of it.
Aluminium.
That's
It's just
very
deep.
observant
Yeah.
of you.
Yeah, yeah.
That's observant.
Excuse me, Mr. Obvious.
Yes, Captain.
Captain Obvious.
Andy,
What you're seeing though is aluminum's really growing in the automotive.
tell us how so. Like what areas or
so?
segments?
How so?
Yeah, yeah.
Grand
So you-
interrupter.
He has
Just hold my hand. We'll get through.
Not a
this.
problem. So you're seeing a lot more. I mean, Ford was one of the first ones. They're the F-150.
That was
it was
on-
an aluminum body.
That was the body, right?
aluminum body, and so a lot. You've always kind of seen hoods, car doors, fenders, bumpers have always kind of been aluminum. You're seeing it more now, but with Ford and advancements in aluminum, and when I say advancements in aluminum, the chemistry that they're using to make that certain alloy. It's making it stronger, but with the strength, you're getting the lightweight.
Are
You're
they
getting the
making-
strength of steel with the light weighting of aluminum. You're getting better.
Are they
fuel
making the
mileage.
frames out of aluminum now too? Okay.
Wow.
I knew the bodies were, but I actually saw a tractor trailer going down the road the other day, and it had frames on it, and I was like, man, those frames look like aluminum just because of the coloring of them.
I mean, in all your electric cars, the battery trays, the trays that hold the batteries.
Oh, okay. I didn't think
aluminum.
about that.
Yeah, aluminum because just waiting.
For fear of asking a dumb question.
Never. Well, not never.
So, cheaper to do aluminum bodied cars, or is it just the weight?
It's just the weight. I shouldn't say that. In my opinion, I believe steel is still cheaper than aluminum. But the benefits that you get out of aluminum in terms of lightweighting and other items bring corrosion resistance, formability, I believe, lightweighting, and then just the recyclability of it in terms of carbon footprint.
That's true.
Yeah,
too,
that's another.
Yeah.
That's another
Aluminum
big deal.
is 100% recyclable.
Yeah.
It doesn't lose its life. So
Yeah, so the circularity piece is
10 pounds of aluminum will always be 10 pounds of aluminum.
Yeah,
That's another term, circularity. I'm going to remember that for
yeah,
future
you'll
podcasts.
drop that. Yeah,
Circularity.
So I'm learning a little bit about the tungsten. Cliff and others, I've been learning from them about how tungsten's sourced. Just in a broad sense, how is aluminum sourced? How much comes from America?
Yeah.
How much is recycle, and then how much is still abroad? I find that fascinating.
Domestically, aluminum is one of those that actually benefits. A lot of it is done domestically. Aluminum scrap, raw material, there almost isn't enough here.
In the States?
Correct, especially with the growth that aluminum's having. Aluminum mills are popping up. They're building more of them to supply this push in automotive. The fact of everybody's seen all these beverage containers going more to aluminum. So these aluminum producers are building more mills. With that, they need more raw materials. So the U.S. has the supply really not enough. I mean, so some has been coming in. But the benefit of just recycling in general is the technology nowadays and how material is recycled is getting better. But I mean specifically is how it's processed and how it's sorted. It always used to be probably when we were kids growing up and we'd see our parents or grandparents and we'd go to a recycling facility. It was you got metal from somebody, you either sheared it, you baled it, and you shipped it. Nowadays, they're shredding it, but then from the shredding it, nowadays you can sort it, and there's mechanical process to sort it, and they're using optical, they're using X-ray, they're using all these new technologies that are allowing recycling companies to segregate their metals and sort them in a way that these mills can use them now. And so products that couldn't be recycled or couldn't be used domestically before are now starting to be able to.
yeah, and not only that is a lot of your municipalities are adding recycling technology that allows them to take in the same what we would say is waste. That's how they categorize it. It would just be everything, trash, just basically what comes out of your house. and then they can run that across automated sorters, and it'll pick this aluminum out.
Yeah, what used to have to be done by hand is done mechanically.
Yeah.
I mean, Rumpke and WM now, are becoming two of the largest recyclers in the country.
Yeah, and they're getting that all out from just waste.
So like Tungco, you are gathering tungsten from different places.
Yep.
And then you do have other byproducts that come out.
Yeah.
Is that the same for you? You're just targeting procurement of aluminum?
And that's kind of my role is, we hit just kind of like Tungco does. We go around the country and there's people who collect and process, and we go and buy from them, or people who bring it to our yard, we buy from them, or industries around our area and buy from them.
Yeah, a lot of people
by the way products like tungsten.
A lot of people in the industry will have a specialty, but he's still going to end up with tungsten. So if aluminum is their specialty because of his yard, he's going to end up with some. In fact, he was one of Evan's first purchases.
Oh, okay.
Evan bought material from him, but we've been buying from Andy since, what did we say the other day? Probably
2008.
Yeah. So we've had a very long standing. He's probably had 5 different people that he's had to work with at Tungco, just because he's selling it in. But yeah, it comes from all over, and that's kind of their specialty.
So with aluminum scrap, I'm curious, your company, so you're gathering aluminum from all over. What do you restore that to a certain state to then pass it on to a plant?
Yeah. So we.
What's the company name too?
No, that's fine. It's Metal Conversions. We're based in Mansfield, Ohio, and Columbus, Ohio. We have a physical scrapyard in Mansfield, Ohio, and a trading office in Columbus. But we collect different types of aluminum, like Tungco does with tungsten. We then have facilities kind of east of the Mississippi, but around the country, where we melt. We take the aluminum, we melt it, and we have customers, specifically die casters, that are then asking for us to produce aluminum ingot or sow to a specific chemistry.
Gotcha.
And so we're baking a cake. We're making a cake to whatever that chemistry
ingot or what?
Sow,
like a pig, but
pig sow. It's just a big block of aluminum, more or less.
It's just another term.
Just
and
filing it away.
And you've probably seen them going down the road on the back of a tractor trailer, but you didn't know what they were. They're just these big, large hunks of aluminum.
And we melt it and make it to a specific chemistry for this consumer, and then they take it and make a product out of it.
Incredible.
Yep.
So what makes you're saying that aluminum is 100% recyclable? I mean, we would say that about tungsten as well, but we have to break the tungsten down, or when you're at a finished product and you're going to go back to recycle it, there is stuff that you have to get out of that. Yeah. It sounds like because you're doing the melt, you're not having to do that.
No. So the idea behind that is, so people who are making aluminum bottles, they can take this aluminum bottle, recycle it, make a new bottle, recycle it, make a new bottle, and they can do that
infinitely.
It is
because
infinitely
the chemistry
recyclable.
stays intact.
Wow.
Correct. Aluminum is infinitely recyclable.
What's its melt point? Just out of curiosity, what's your roughly? I was
What's
just
a
curious.
big collider?
Listen, I just buy and sell scrap. I'm just a face and a smile.
Yeah,
you're getting a little technical.
I'm sorry.
You're getting a little too technical for me.
Andy, Paul rubbed off.
It's lower than steel. It's lower than stainless. It's I can't give you I couldn't tell you.
That works for me.
I'm embarrassing people probably.
No.
But if I gave an answer, I'd be embarrassing myself.
It'd be worse. Yeah.
It's entertaining.
Everybody's watched those YouTubes where the guy melts the thing down and pours it in the ant pile. Have you seen those? Those are pretty cool.
Yeah.
I want to do that.
There's a reason they send me out to travel and visit customers and take them to bars and drinks and play golf. They don't put me in the melt shop.
You're not in the melt shop.
I'm not on a forklift. I've been on a forklift before and get out. OSHA was not happy about it.
Right.
Yeah, they sent you a warning. Don't do that again.
So there's a couple cool areas where our metals actually intersect in terms of creating products. So like on the bottom of this liquid death can, this shape right here, that's punched out by a tungsten carbide die. So you would have basically, if you took the top off of this, you would have a tungsten die that looks just like this can, and then they punch the aluminum with it. And it's doing it, if you ever watch that show, How Things Are Made, it's one of those that you have to slow it down on the camera to actually, so your eye can see it.
Aren't they in a flat? Like is the can in a flat.
It's how it starts, but Andy can probably explain that better than I can.
Remember the guy I told you about in Kentucky that was stored those? He had a whole warehouse, and that's what he did, was store those flats.
And so that's how that's how we've started doing business, is the fact of, this industrial company that makes the cans. They'll buy the aluminum from the rolling mill that made it. They're then forming this can. They're using these dies to make that shape and form it. There's going to be waste off of that. I don't want to call it waste because it isn't. It's recyclable aluminum, but to them it's waste, and they want to get rid of it. We buy it. Well, that die is going to wear, and instead of after time, they then scrap those wear parts out, and we get those, and that's how we get our aluminum, and then we'll get the same thing from them, and we sell it to Tungco.
Yeah, and it's not something that they're changing out every day, so he doesn't get tons and tons of scrap like that. But
you could cut out the middleman by going straight to those people, Cliff.
Oh, sure.
Just a suggestion.
Yeah, no, that's definitely not stewarding in our supplier
relationship. I get what he's saying. Okay. I get what he's saying, but we're going to work on your vocabulary as we go through this hour here. Come on. You say middleman. I'm not a middleman because we actually processed it. We picked it up. We processed it, we sorted it, and then we shipped it. Middleman would insinuate I wasn't really doing anything. So I'm not doing anything with it.
So I'm too. And we have to hear that enough.
You're still in the Hall of Fame in the MLB.
Yeah. Batting 500. So
Andy, thank you for that clarification. Yes. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
No, we are. We do. There are times where we are a middleman, though. That is in our business.
All right. So that's two things Paul has learned in this podcast that. Stainless is not. No, three things. Stainless is not in aluminum.
Yeah,
and I've already forgotten the
is
word
something other than a pin.
A
pig.
And the three of us have
circularity.
Circularity.
The three of us have learned
I thought that was an HVAC
Paul is excessively caffeinated.
Yeah,
is what.
Yeah,
we've learned.
Can you tell I've had a espresso?
Yeah, you went straight founder mode. I think you got a little powder on the tip of your nose.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to take a deep breath, Ray Kroc.
He's going straight Wolf of Wall Street on us. He's like, let's go.
I'm sorry if I brought this up because I've listened, I'm a big fan, listen to this podcast multiple times. Paul, they've never treated you this poorly.
You haven't watched very
many.
You
haven't. Andy, you're might be.
You're a rookie.
Don't talk anymore.
Was I 0 for 1?
Yeah, you're 0 for 1.
This is kindness.
Yeah, he'll be the 10th batter.
Paul, are you going to leave soon, or this is kindness?
Yeah,
this is my. Yeah, that's it.
So let's talk future growth for aluminum. What new industries? We know you've mentioned the auto industry that is blossoming a little bit more business. What are some other things that are on the horizon?
Automotive, obviously. Personally, I think electrical.
Okay.
The electrification of our country and everything that's going on is huge, and copper's expensive.
Yep.
And aluminum
it's not getting any cheaper right now.
And aluminum can be done. Aluminum can do it. It's not as conductive as copper, but it can be done. So it could be cheaper.
They're already using aluminum lines in certain areas, right?
Yep.
And is that like power lines as well?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Andy, what's the key area, not to get too technical, but you've got copper, which is highly conductive. As I've always heard of aluminum and electricity with just a little bit of caution, but just tell me what would be the difference between copper and aluminum as it pertains to electricity? Just less conductive?
Yes. Copper is the premier. It's more conductive.
Okay.
It does a better job.
But aluminum's so much cheaper, and it will work.
Nearly half.
Correct.
Oh. What's aluminum a pound right now?
Oh, it's if you prime aluminum's $1.80 and some change today. Comex copper is trading at $5.50 today.
Ooh, right.
Yeah,
that's big difference.
All a pound.
Big time.
Big difference.
Just electrical wiring. When you get a cable that size.
Building a house is going to get expensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's probably in 10 years, not just these, but the permanent water bottles. Isn't that a big scene, or is that tapering off a little bit? Because I know it exploded at one point.
No, it's still big.
Okay.
And it's aluminum and stainless.
Okay.
Yeah, the stainless. Stainless has that the good, obviously, strength, but insulated characteristics that the stainless brings to
that's what most of those, like the reusable
Yetis
water bottle,
like
Yeti and
stainless.
the tumblers,
Yep.
that most of that stuff would be stainless. And then I know we're not necessarily focusing on stainless, but also like your appliances, they're stainless. So there's a lot of stuff in our homes that we use every day that is stainless too.
Yeah, people just, the amount of recycled materials that get used to make our everyday items, you couldn't go a day without using something that comes from recycled materials.
Yeah, 100%. So let's get into a little bit of politics on some things. How involved are you all with any of municipalities? We kind of mentioned them already. How well do we feel like they're doing at stewarding their recycle programs? Because I know if you go to the state grants, they're definitely stewarding their pockets to get money from the states. But how much is that actually going to? Because one of my big frustration, if you look at federal grants and state grants for the recycled industry, we really don't have a lot. Yeah. We can get credits, but there's not a lot of grants. If you categorize yourself as waste, I think this is why waste management is doing so well, is because they're doing what we already do. They just call it something else, and they can come in and get all kinds of state and federal funding.
Yeah, I think one thing that we as recyclers always struggled with, or our viewpoint kind of always was through history, was we wanted to, just sit back and fly under the radar. If we flew under the radar, you wouldn't get things, you wouldn't get a lot of benefits, but you also wouldn't get in trouble for anything. That's right. Nobody came after you. You could just do your business, make your money, have your effect on the world, and go about
some
your
of that
business.
was from the REACH process, right?
Yeah, I mean,
because that got everybody in a lot of hot water.
Yeah, and what I think people are realizing today is, as recyclers, we have to be involved, and so you're starting to see more involvement in the municipalities in the federal, in the state level, federal level, county level, because recyclers are doing a better job of getting involved.
Yep.
When recyclers weren't involved, then they're not, all these people involved, the politicians and elected officials that are involved in the grants and what may be done, if they know their constituents aren't cared about it, they're not going to do anything.
Yep.
But if they have businesses that they know drive employment, that they know drive the economy, and they speak to them and bring them in and bring them to your recycling facility to show them around, you're going to see more and more grants coming to the recycling way. But if you just want to sit back and fly under the radar, it's kind of hard to complain that you're not getting the love that you think you deserve.
Right.
The WMs, the Rumkeys, these waste service companies that are doing the recycling, they're involved.
Yeah.
I mean, they're talking to the state level, they're talking to the county level and the national federal level. Yeah. And that's one thing that, the Recycling's Trade Association, ReMA, is doing a better job of than we ever did in the past.
So that was going to be my next question. You feel like some of these organizations that we all, and no disrespect to any of them, but we as the members, we pay a lot of money to these organizations. Do you feel like the one that we're a part of, ReMA, how would you grade them on where they're engaging at that level?
No, I feel they do a good job. I mean, I know plenty of companies that aren't members that they're involved and they do well and they do fine, but that's because their ownership group enjoys being involved and they want to be involved in the politics. That's not me.
Yeah, sure. But
but as a member of ReMA, I'm glad I have an association that does that on our behalf and they do it well. But as a member, and I think it's a member of any trade association or from a country club to a bowling alley, I mean, you can be a member of it, but if you don't participate,
sure,
you're not going to get anything out of it.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And trade associations are the same thing.
Yeah, I thought through a lot of this tariff back and forth, I thought ReMA's done a very good job on communications with that. I mean, and not lagged either. I mean, like very, very prompt to say, hey, this is how we see the tariffs from this country impacting the entire recycling organization. I thought they did a really good
They have.
good
And I tell anybody who wants to join ReMA or wants to join a trade association in general, your membership is only as good as your involvement.
Yeah.
You just want to write a check and not be involved, then probably after a year, you're going to wonder why you wrote that check.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's good advice. Good advice.
But it's a fun business to be in, but the growth of it just outside of just you and I talking about it, listening to how it affects your guys' lives now. I mean, you guys, we're joking about, the vocabulary and what you're doing, but you guys understand it's affecting your everyday life.
Certainly.
Yeah. How do you let's answer that last question. How do we feel like the municipalities are doing in taking on some onus there?
It's okay.
Yeah.
Personally, I know plenty of places that they don't have anything. Some have this. We've tried to separate ourselves as recyclers, kind of from that blue bin mentality.
Yep.
That blue bin that everybody uses to put their stuff from their house in. Cause,
sure. because they think it's going to be recycled.
Yeah. And whether it is or isn't, and then, you know, we all grew up with the triangles and the numbers in them, and this can go in, but this can't. And,
right.
You know, the pizza box can, but the little plastic that keeps the cheese off the lid can't, and this can. And, you know, no one's, it's the municipalities are, I think, trying, but where it really needs to go on their end, and then we can help as the companies and the businesses behind it, is the education in the schools and to the kids.
Yeah.
You know, if you grew up knowing what you can and can't be recycled, then you're going to recycle.
Yeah. Do you have concerns that if a WM were to get big enough that they could kind of monopolize that whole feed stream coming out of people's homes?
I mean, they could, which is fine. I mean, currently it's hard to do economically. You know, only somebody like a WM could probably do it.
Okay.
You know, because they have the infrastructure.
That's true.
You know, a recycler like myself, we don't have the capabilities to do it. Mm-hmm. Let them do it. Let them collect it. Let others collect it. You know, having these small town recycling facilities, or having these bigger companies that can go around to people's homes and collect it, it has to happen. I mean, we can't do it.
Yeah, so I've been talking with our mayor. You've been to Madisonville. It's a small town, 20,000 people. And they put in a cardboard recycling program probably back in 15 or 16. And at that time, China didn't have the green fence. So they were still buying everything. Yeah. Well, as soon as China put up the green fence, over, Dunsey. And it's just been a clumsy, and that's not anything the mayor wouldn't say. I mean, because it rolled out as a free program for the community, because they could, as long as they would put their cardboard in there and separate it. Well, it got so bad where people were just putting their trash in. Now it's not recyclable. Yeah. So it just ended up being a fiasco. So it is a very complex thing. But I do think it's doable, but they would have to have somebody, I think, at that level that's really willing to drive it and know it, not 100%. Just kind of be like, I get it a little bit.
Are there threats to your industry? I know, like we were talking with Amy, the threat with tungsten is literally running out.
Yeah, running out of material.
Yeah.
Andy and I were talking about that a little bit at the bar the other night. I think you got some concerns right now just on the supply chain side, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's not enough in the U.S. We don't recycle enough aluminum.
So if that's a threat, how does, if you escalate that through lobbyists or whatever to a government level, how can you change? What could make a difference?
Personally, I think first and foremost, it's education. Educating, going to the elementary schools, going to the middle schools, and educating the students, educating the children, not only just about to recycle.
Okay, so we're just basically throwing away an asset.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's the idea of how many of us walk through the grocery store and you're looking at two exactly same items, two pieces, two drinks, two types of food that are packaged two different ways. Which one are you buying? Yeah. And do you know the answer? Mm.
Yeah. So for me, what we've got on the table here, this is what I'm buying every time I go to the store, because a lot of the accountability and the circularity, that new word that Paul
circularity,
learned,
circularity of sows.
So like this, this green bottle here, like even their packaging is coming from recycled materials on that side. So they're completely soup to nuts on everything that they're doing. And I think that makes a difference for me. And it is more money. Yeah. But I know when I go buy water at whatever place and it costs me $4 for a 24 pack, there's not been a lot of intentionality into what their
So explain impact. That. What do you mean?
Well,
I mean, you're going to take that plastic, we do, throw it in our blue bin. And you're just saying that that's not stewardship?
It's not as recyclable. I mean, at the end of the day, aluminum is infinitely recyclable.
Okay.
So, but here's the other problem with that. You can throw it in that blue bin. What all do you throw in your blue bin?
Well, yeah, the pizza box with the cheese thing.
With the cheese.
And maybe with some food on it.
Yeah.
I mean, do you scrape all the food off before you put it in there?
Well, Julie, Julie.
She might.
She might have washed it.
But That's good. That's good.
Not far from the truth.
But the average person is not taking that kind of intentionality to separate.
So it's just more trash. Yeah.
Correct. And so to his point, on their side where they've gotten more technical at his place where they're separating
But
it.
that's cost prohibitive.
Well, it's not at that level, but at the municipalities, well, it doesn't have anything to do with cost. It has to do with capacity. They don't have the capacity to do it, so it ends up at whoever handles the landfill material, and then it's on them whether they have the sorting capabilities.
Yeah. It shouldn't fall on deaf ears. I mean, the fact that WM and these other, and like a Rumpke and these big trash companies are recycling, the fact that they're actually recycling, they make more profit taking it to the landfill than recycling.
Why? What?
Because what they can charge to put it in a landfill makes them more money.
Oh, they own the landfill. Yeah,
correct.
They own
get out of
they
recycling.
own the landfill, and you have somebody's paying them to take it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it's the incentivization is in reverse.
So the fact that they're actually doing it is a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing, just to be clear, is there's a lot of aluminum that's just getting thrown in the ground that we
100%.
could be recycling if we knew more.
Stainless,
all this-
aluminum.
It's very important.
And a lot of it has to do with, it's not just, these bottles are great because they're all aluminum. You walk the grocery store shelves, how many items do you see where it's aluminum with cardboard connected to it? You can't do anything with that now. I can't melt it with the card. I mean, I can with the cardboard, but the cardboard makes it hard to melt because now you're smoking melt shops and you got safety precautions and environmental. And then the cardboard people don't want it because there's aluminum. How do you separate it? And now you're getting into the technologies and it's moving along, but.
Absolutely. What's an example of that would be mixed, like a mixed, just something, because I'm
Easy.
trying to think
Pringles
of
can. Pringles can is a cardboard can with aluminum on either end.
Wow.
It's
That's
100% recyclable
But
because
it's
cardboard and metal can be
mixed
recycled.
media. Mixed media, yeah.
But it's for me to try to recycle it, you somehow got to separate the metal and the cardboard.
Gotcha.
So, Paul, it doesn't matter where your blue bin or we can go to the Denver airport and their blue bins. What matters is where they're taking that to.
Correct.
So they have all this detailed separation of scraps, but the only thing that matters is where that scrap is going. And if they're just sending it to the local trash pickup,
they might not have the
whatever that
ability
agree.
to separate it. Yeah.
I guarantee you can go to landfills all across this country and you'll see blue bags with aluminum only cans that probably still just go into the landfill just like that.
I think there was a number. I think nowadays, shredders car shredders that are shredding cars and on these big Ferris scrapyards. I want to say 20 years ago, the waste off of that they were taking to a landfill had somewhere like 8 to 10% non-ferrous metals in it still that was going to the landfill. Now, I think today technology has gotten better that it's down to 3 to 5%. But I mean, if they're taking, I don't even know how much they're taking. I mean, it's tons. Tons at 5% still has non-ferrous metal in it.
So I was listening to one of the Born Scrappy podcasts with Stuart, and he had a lady on that was from Spain. What was the big
Novelis.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she was talking about how there is some discussion in Europe about the idea of actually going into landfills and basically urban mining.
Yeah.
Urban mining the material back out of the
People
ground.
talked about it here that
Yeah.
if you, in theory, you could probably buy, an old landfill that's been shut down and, for 50 years, waste was going in there off shredders that had 10 to 15% non-ferrous metal.
And the further back that landfill goes, there's going to be
more of it.
There's going to be more metals in there because the metals is not deteriorating.
In Columbus, the Phoenix golf course down there. On
Oh
the
yeah,
south side of town,
it's on a
landfill.
Yeah, the one in
forgot
Chicago.
about
The one in
that.
Chicago that Harborside in Chicago is the old
Yeah.
Chicago landfills. They have a golf course on now.
What else would you do with it?
sounds
I
like
know
like
plenty
when-
of people have dug pretty deep on them golf courses with their divots.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, here's some non-ferrous metal.
be like,
They keep swinging. They may get down there and find
that's
something.
right.
You're exactly
be like,
right.
holy
My
crap!
clubs-
There's a can.
my
Take it to
clubs are
Andy. Take it to
forged.
Andy.
Yes. So like in golf clubs, is there any aluminum on those, or
I
that's
don't-
mainly going to be steel and
Titanium.
There's some tungsten on there.
Yeah,
and-
there used to be some beryllium, beryllium copper ones.
Yeah.
No.
What's the primary that is aluminum the element that comes out of the ground, or is it called something else?
Yeah, it's so it's you're going deep on me now. I should have been able to rattle this off.
That's what she said.
not to us or me. No, the aluminum we use, the aluminum that's getting used to make our items every day is not what's mined out of the ground.
Okay.
It is refined and created into aluminum.
Okay. So like tungsten, when it comes out of the ground, they don't call it tungsten. They call it wolframite or scheelite. I was talking to somebody the other day about the, I guess the sponge that goes in to make stainless. And they mentioned whatever the word, I don't know if it was stainless or something else, but whatever it was, I'd never even heard of it in my life. So I just didn't know what
it's alumina is what is mined.
Alumina. Okay. All right.
And then from alumina, they refine it and make aluminum.
Do we still have some active mines in the States getting that? Because I know mining is
I don't think so. I mean, we really only have one company that actually makes aluminum in the U.S. I believe one company.
Really?
Well, I mean, the electrical cost to do it is expensive.
Wow.
I mean, there was more. There's less now just because, the electricity used and what the rates are too high. So that's why that's what's being imported. And that's where a lot of the tariff talk has come when people say aluminum's being imported. Well, it's the aluminum, it's what makes the aluminum, and then also finished goods that are coming in. It's not the recycled material. It's not the scrap.
So when that industry is importing, they could be importing anything from sheet, like the rolled sheet, and then is there another product that they
slab? They call it slab, which is used a lot in extruding metals. Like making bleachers.
Oh yeah,
bleachers.
That's another one. I hadn't thought of aluminum bleachers.
Definitely.
Yeah,
that's extruded metal. The way that's made because it's extruded through a die.
Okay.
But so slab would be brought in. Coil, rolled coil.
Oh, and maybe is aluminum siding still a thing, or
aluminum siding, but that's the coil.
Okay.
It comes in as coil.
Okay.
And then the siding would be made here. Gutters.
Yep, gutters. Okay.
It's funny you said me because I got into aluminum. I mean, I've been in the recycling business for a while, but I started on the stainless side and then got into aluminum. And, people have been talking about how aluminum siding was going to go away because it was all going to plastic, to composite. And here we are still, people are begging for aluminum siding still, and it still comes. I mean, it's, the same talk has come about with aluminum engines, the combustible engine. Is it going away?
Yeah.
And what's going to happen to these people that make cast aluminum if there's no combustible engines anymore? Do you need cast aluminum? And does that happen, and when does that happen?
Yeah. Are you guys tracking that pretty closely?
Yeah, I mean, you're tracking
as an aluminum industry.
Yeah, I mean, are we ever going to get rid of the combustible engine? I mean,
my thought is no.
Yeah, right. I mean, at some point, could it be a smaller use than what it is today? Probably. But it is, it is a thought that's out there of, what's it going to change to? So it's, a lot of your basic 380 cast aluminum is the alloy type that makes these engines typically. Yeah. Is it just going to be and then now you have these battery trays for the electrical vehicles, the batteries that hold the batteries. That's still it's still aluminum. Yeah. And you can do it. It's just a different.
What's the volume difference on that?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
I got to imagine it's not even close.
We have questions.
Yeah. Well, one of the interesting things is we're a member of a Tungsten Association, and they paid an outside group to come in and do a study. Done it over about a decade, and a big concern, just like for aluminum, because when they mill those aluminum blocks, engine blocks, that's done with tungsten. Yeah. So they were going through what is going to negatively impact tungsten the most. And the thought at the time was EVs. And then you saw this pretty strong run up. Well, now it's almost like it's plateaued a little bit. You're seeing everybody start to back off of what they thought was their 2030 date or their 2035 date. Toyota canned their CEO for not going full electric and wanting to go the hybrid way. They've completely went backwards on that. Now they're looking at going back the hybrid way. Porsche's working on an e-fuel. I think Formula One is going to be e-fuel by next year. Mm-hmm. That's where I think it's heading, is that the efficiency of the or what we call the ICE, the internal combustion engine, the ICE I think that's going to continue to stay where it's at, if not grow. Especially if we get a green fuel to where there's essentially no emissions.
Yeah.
And I think, like I said, with F1 in 2026, they'll be still on a hybrid combustion engine, but they'll be producing 0 emissions.
Andy, would you happen to have the percentage? Because I know in tungsten, so we had so many tons of tungsten is used in the U.S., and you said 35% of that is salvaged.
Yeah, tungsten has the Western world. So let's just say the EU and North America, we've got about a 35% recycle rate. Yeah.
Would you have a percentage of how much of our aluminum needs comes from recycled aluminum?
Yeah, I want to say, like a recycled rate, I think I've heard, I don't know the number exactly, but I've heard and read specifically to the big one that's always done is the beverage can. The beer can, the pop can, the Coke can. How much of that is actually getting recycled?
True.
And in the U.S., it's surprisingly low.
Really?
It's like 50, 60%.
Wow.
So it's one of those, that just, and that's where this education comes in. Because if that just grows 10, 15%, our needs are probably covered, is what they say.
Wow.
But it's surprisingly low, and that's where a lot of the concern is of we either got to grow that or we got to find ways to
get those cans back,
get the cans into the recycling stream, or find ways of the current stream that we have segregating more aluminum out of it.
So I heard somebody have the idea the other day, if you look on the back of a plastic bottle or an aluminum bottle, you'll have like your states in here and what they'll pay you for it. So like Hawaii, looks like Maine and New York will pay you 5 cents for this bottle as it is. Oregon will pay you 10 cents. So somebody floated the idea that I was listening to, that what if instead of doing some of the subsidies for helping people who are disenfranchised or unhomed, what if we created subsidies for them for the scrapyard, or so for like Andy's company, to where they would get an additional payment from the government, and essentially it would empower each unhomed person to be a sole proprietor. Like that could be their job, is to make sure all these cans are gathered, collected, all that stuff. And I was like, man, that's a really good idea, because you're checking off a couple boxes by doing that. You're keeping your resource, which is precious, that we already have. We're not just letting it go back into the ground. You're bringing dignity back. It's getting away from as much of a welfare state, and you're empowering them to have basically create their own business.
Absolutely.
I thought that was not my idea. I heard it on a pod, and I don't even know whose it was, but it was fantastic.
That is that's the battle that we as recyclers have been fighting for years now with governments, is the fact of, they think we're the problem, that our customers that bring in cans every day and other recycled material they bring in and get paid for, that it's just an avenue for people to go steal stuff. Or we're giving them money to then just go buy drugs, as opposed to it's twofold. We're giving them money to survive, and then second, the stuff that they're collecting is going to be sitting on the side of the road.
Yeah, and state government, correct me if I'm wrong, Andy, because we don't have to, at Tungco, we don't have to participate in this because we don't deal with the public. But if you're a scrapyard and you deal with the public, there's actually like a registration deal.
Yes.
Where it's hard for you to come in off the street, like especially if you don't have an ID or where you got it from or whatever, the scrapyards are prohibited from being able to buy that from you.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, you can give cash up to certain. All states are not all. A lot of states are different, but there's a lot of laws.
You come
to make
in with
this
a
tough.
lot of electrical cable in the back of your pickup truck. You might have been somewhere you shouldn't have been.
Yeah, people are going to ask questions, and then some states were forcing recyclers to, if they did buy that, they'd have to hold it. We'd have to, we'd buy it from you, we'd pay you for it, and then we'd have to hold it for so many days
Just to make sure
that
no police report
nothing got
something.
restolen, and then we could go and process it.
Yeah.
We were, we were having to become the enforcer of the law, and that's not what we do. That's not who we are.
Yeah, and it's really over-regulation that is hurting what we're trying to do to create a circular economy. It's not helping it. And
because the money you're getting from the states, when you buy these cans in like a Michigan or a Maine or you pay more for your cans. I mean, so when you buy a case of beer, it costs more in Michigan than it does in somewhere else, in Indiana or Ohio.
Okay, so that's how they're subsidized. Okay.
So when you go and then return it,
all right, I didn't know that.
You can either return it and get cash, or they'll give you certificates. So then when you go buy your next case, your money just gets rolled over.
Okay. So that's the part I did not know.
It's not money the state's paying you. You pay a higher fee.
Okay, so the consumer is actually paying it.
The consumer pays it.
Gotcha.
And then gets the money. They turn the cans in, they can get the money back, or it just rolls to the next case they buy.
Okay. That makes some sense.
I like what you had heard better, give some sort of incentive for the people who do collect to find a way to help, drive income.
Yeah.
I wonder if like the 7-Elevens, I mean, you're talking about they get a credit for bringing it literally to that, whatever the provider is.
Kind of. I mean, in essence, yeah. So
I mean, could there not be a business model where they started collecting in that, where it was an advantage to them?
Yeah, I mean, and that's, in essence, what you're saying is what we do.
Okay.
I mean,
they are a procurement item.
Yeah, the way that, and again, every state that has this buyback program, or what they call a deposit state, because you make a deposit. You get your can.
That's why they call it deposit. Okay.
In my opinion, that's why they call it deposit.
Well, it makes sense.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I've never heard that before.
They're called deposit states.
Okay. I got
Cover for tax.
Yeah. And only certain places are allowed to collect it. You got to be certified, by the state to collect it, because when you do collect it, you got to track, you got to do that. I mean, because you're getting money from the state, and the grocery stores don't want to do it. That's not their business.
It's nominal dollars.
Yeah, and it's not their business. Their business is selling food and groceries. That's our business. Let's team up and let's use the people that are here that know what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like there's definitely some improvement that can happen there,
Always.
some growth that can happen on that. So what's next for Andy Cohen? You got anything big coming up? Any big trips or big events?
Well, personally, just traveling, business travel, getting out and about. This is my time of the year that I'm out and about. In fact,
running and gunning.
My wife actually made a comment the other day back in like May. She's like, you haven't been traveling much. And I'm like, you sure you want to
bring that up?
You sure you want to say that? And then here I am with you guys.
Don't hold your breath. So how do you go from, I think I heard earlier before we actually started recording that your dad was a pediatrician.
My dad was a pediatrician. He's retired.
But your family, like from your grandfather back, had a scrapyard?
So on my mom's side, my mom's grandfather, it was my mom's grandfather. So my great grandfather, during the Depression, so we'd been in the 20s, 30s, moved from, I think it was Rochester, New York, or in the New York area, where they had immigrated from Eastern Europe, Russia area, and traveled to northern Indiana and started what you would call today a recycling scrapyard. But they were buying pelts and tires and metal and collecting it and paying people for it. And they started a scrapyard in Wabash, Indiana, that my grandfather ran, my uncle ran, and then they sold it to a larger scrap company there. But
that was
I grew up collecting cans. We would drink sodas or pops or whatever you want to call them, and we'd hold onto the cans, and I'd take them trash bags full to my uncle when we'd go visit him for Thanksgiving, and he would he'd weigh them up, and when I was a kid, I was probably screwing myself because he'd say, hold your hands out, and however many quarters I could hold. And then as I got older, it moved to nickels because my hands were bigger. Instead of actually looking at the weight and negotiating the price, I just took the change that he put in my hands.
Yeah, you just happy to
you
get
got
a little
rookie
coin.
duty.
Oh, I got the raw end of that.
Yeah,
man.
Well, I mean, that just proves your uncle's a real scrap guy.
Yeah,
Because it doesn't matter if he's your nephew or not. It's still buying scrap.
A deal's a deal.
Business. Yeah.
Yeah, so I learned from there. I don't do those deals anymore.
Yeah.
I don't do those deals.
Did your
anymore, which is
dad?
nice.
Was he? Did he push you in a certain direction, like what you wanted, what he wanted you to do in life? Or?
No. Thankfully, it was kind of a joke. Before I got into the recycling business, I was worked for Finish Line, the athletic retailer. I was a store manager for them, and
Soccer playing, it kind of makes sense.
yeah,
right?
and I loved sneakers. I'm a sneaker guy, And it's funny. I tell people, like, my dad was a doctor, my older brother's an attorney, and I sell shoes.
Yeah.
It hit me, which my parents were never. I mean, I was running an operation. I was the general manager. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
But there was some family tie there, too.
There was some
right?
family tie there. But I remember vividly one day being there helping a young kid. I mean, he was younger than me, but you could tell he was about to go to college. He was sitting there with his mom, and he was getting a pair of shoes to go to college. And I was talking to him, saying, hey, where are you going to go to school? Yada, yada, yada. And he's telling me where he's going to go. And it was the same place I went to college. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. I go, I went there. I graduated from there. And you should see the look on his mom's face. She's like, I am paying for my kid to go to college. And you're selling me shoes?
It's like an epiphany, right?
I look back and I laugh now. I'm like, jeez. But she doesn't understand. I mean, I had one of their bigger stores in the country. I had 100 part-time employees. I had 10 management people working for me. I was 23 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a great learning experience. I was hiring, I was firing, I was training, I was...
and making bank for 23.
Yeah, but it was fun. Her look on her face, though. I'm paying what to send my kid to this school?
To be a sneaker dude.
Oh, man.
But no, they didn't push me any which way. Whatever I wanted to be, they were, as long as I was happy. And, they did say, if you want to live the life that I think you want to live, you may want to go a certain direction.
You might consider these options. Yeah.
But they never pushed me anywhere.
That's great. So we mentioned ReMA. You've been highly involved with ReMA for a long time now, and currently you're the chair of where the trade shows are at, right?
Yeah, convention chair.
Yeah, convention chair. So tell us a little bit. What's that look like for you? How's was the last one in San Diego, which was awesome, by the way.
Thank you.
I didn't know you were a boat captain. Additionally,
I was the boat captain. I was helping navigate those rough waters.
Was that your first one?
That was my first one as convention chair. Yeah.
Yeah. So how did that go for you, and what are we looking for this coming year?
Yeah, it was good. It was a good learning experience. We were organizing it, putting the team together. Thankfully that role has a wonderful team behind it because it is such an important event for the trade association. You have a lot of staff that are there strictly to help put the show on. So it's not just, somebody like me who may say something stupid and they kind of look at you and go, sure, Andy, let's go this way though.
Yeah. You got handlers.
Yes. Yeah. Because the ideas may be here and we need to be here. But San Diego was great. We had a great speaker. Every year we try to get at least one, what we call headliner. It's for our opening session. This past year it was the owner and creator and founder of the Savannah Bananas. I don't know if
you
guys know who it is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or if you've heard him
Love that.
at all.
I haven't heard him.
The guy is impressive. He killed it. He had it wasn't our largest convention we've ever had. It was the largest convention we've ever had in California because California can be a little tough for East Coast people to get to. But we had probably over 1,000 people in there, which is the largest opening session we've probably ever had for a speaker. And he had scrappers on their feet dancing like they were at a Savannah Bananas game.
It was hilarious.
It was impressive.
Yeah.
He killed it. So now we're sitting here trying to think what's next for 2026 in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Where
You
the
could
next
get a
convention
Pentecostal
is.
preacher there.
Well, there's a
They're
couple
pretty
sitting
good
right
at
there.
it.
You guys busy? Vegas?
So let us.
We get people dancing.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Be dancing and running.
Yep.
Just no snakes.
Can you? No snakes.
No snakes.
No snakes. It's in the rider. No
We're
snakes.
good. Yeah.
Can you let us in on give us any secrets or for this coming one in Vegas, or is everything under wraps still?
Listen,
That sounds like a politician. They say stuff like that
Yeah.
before they tell you nothing.
Yeah.
before they,
Yeah, right. Perfect.
Yeah, listen. I'm processing.
I'm gonna deflect this one pretty well.
He's like,
You ready? Here we go. So it's going to be Vegas is always a good year. It's always we go every other year to Vegas. It's always a great convention because it's Vegas. We have probably 5 different speakers on the docket that we're evaluating.
Yeah. I heard Elon may be on there.
Elon's on there.
Heard the name was floated.
Trump. Putin's on there.
Putin. Yeah.
We had some others,
Paul
but they were a little too controversial that we didn't want to bring. So we were just sticking to the Putin, Elon, and we may have all three at the same time.
Okay.
Well, Paul is there for Putin.
Yeah.
Let's just let everyone know that he's there for Putin.
No, listen. The idea is we're trying to find people who are big names, influential, market drivers, disrupting their environment, whatever it may be. But somebody who can move the needle. But at the end of the day, come and speak and give the attendees something that they can take away and bring back to their business. Our whole goal in San Diego was to get the attendee to show up on Monday, leave on Friday, and be at the airport on Friday, sitting there waiting on their plane, thinking to themselves, going, "Man, that was awesome. That was an experience. I got information. I met new people. I had a great time. I am ready to get back and implement, and I'm fired up."
So how many members attend and how many vendors? I mean, what is that?
Yeah, so we have a huge exhibit hall that Tungco is thankfully been a big part of. It has usually over 350, almost 400 vendors inside, and we have the largest exhibit show floor in the recycling materials conventions in the world. Over 350 exhibitors. From software design to heavy equipment. Cranes that are lifting, cars and crushers and granulators and shredders.
And this isn't
magnets.
just North America people. This is people from all over
the world
coming to this.
All over the world come to this. In Vegas, last time we were in Vegas, which was 2024, and we'll be there in 26, we had just over 7,000 attendees.
Oh, that's massive.
Yeah.
Which is very good for us.
Yeah. It's a fantastic trade show. It's always been well done.
And that's the goal this year, or for 26 in Vegas, is just, again, so that when people are sitting at the airport, they go, I got stuff to take home.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you're listening and you're in the scrap industry and you've never been, you definitely need to consider it. It's the opening gala is fantastic. Then that's the first night. Do you have to be a member to come to that, or is that open to everybody?
No,
just registered.
If you want to, as long as you register.
Okay.
And and like you said, it's not just. I'm gonna get on my soapbox.
Go ahead,
here for a second.
Stand on top of it.
It's not just for scrappers.
Yeah.
It's recycling.
Yeah, in general.
In general, if you're in battery recycling, you're a producer of. Toyota's coming, Ford's there. They're not recyclers; they're producers, but they're involved in recycling. Is that circularity?
Circularity.
Sounds
that is a part of that whole process, the manufacturing circular stream.
Wow,
that's a good point. I haven't, and I don't think
they
I've
should
even
be there.
Yeah. So, and I've had those. We've had Toyota come by our booth. We had Hoyt Archery come by our booth before. I just hadn't thought about. We even had NASCAR there one year.
In San Diego, we had the president of the North American Association of Manufacturers, which is one of the biggest trade associations for manufacturers. The GMs, the Toyotas, the GEs, they were all members. He spoke in San Diego. And it was a great speech because their industry and our industry, the manufacturing and recycling industries, are tied.
Yeah, hand in hand, really.
Hand in hand.
Yeah.
So they should be there.
What's your biggest takeaway when you come? Do you have is it from a breakout? Is it from the networking? Is it from a vendor? When you go, you're like, glad I went that time.
Yeah, so we take a large enough consortium that we will have people go to these, to the speakers, because a lot of times that's going on during the day while the trade show is on. And then we have a pretty big floor footprint on the trade show floor. So we have to have somewhere between 3 and 5 people managing that booth. A big area for us is a lot of scrap yards are only buying small volumes of tungsten scrap. They just don't get a lot in. And a lot of times they think that because it's so small that we would not be interested in it. Mm-hmm. So I think we were talking with Amy and on one of the podcasts and Evan. We buy stuff as little as 50 pounds. But scrap yards are used to dealing in tons and tons and tons. So I think that's where we build in a pretty good network of support for those guys. Every once in a while you'll find somebody that has a large amount of material, but we really build the supply chain.
And then some of your team is
it's more like grassroots kind of.
Or going to breakouts, and they're garnering information that they wouldn't have gotten on an expertise level that you probably wouldn't have delivered.
Yeah, I mean, so our goal for companies like Tungco is, for them to have a presence on the exhibit show floor to advertise and show all these other recyclers that are walking the exhibit show floor who they are. And then once that show floor closes at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock that day, they then have the ability, and some of their other guys during the show floor, they can go and network and build their business and find more places. And instead of having to go out and travel to all these places during the year and try to hit all these different states, there's 7,000 people in one spot.
Yeah.
It's a great time, but it's not for the faint of heart.
It's a long few days.
It's basically 7 a.m. till maybe 1 a.m. for about 5 days in a row.
If you're an exhibitor.
Well,
if you want to get the value out of it, it's not cheap to go by any means, but what you can get out of it, it's kind of like that. If you're willing to pay for it to go, then you should be up early. Take advantage of everything from.
If you're just going to go walk the floor one time and go sit by the pool and get drunk, then you're not going to get much out of it. Now, we all probably get a little bit drunk, but it ain't because we're just sitting by the pool. Yeah. We're out.
I mean, this convention, unlike others, you can show up on a Monday afternoon, and you will have an exhibit show floor. You will have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and drinks, and networking opportunities set up for you. So you don't even have to set up the networking opportunities. Networking opportunities set up for you every single day for one price. I mean, so it's if you take advantage of those things, it's a great. But you're going from 7 a.m. till 1 in the morning.
I mean, back in the day before we had the scanning systems that we have now. I mean, you'd go home with a stack of contact cards like that, business cards. Now the cool thing is everybody wears a badge, and your phone is just a scanner. So you scan the badge, and there's an app on there, and you can take notes, be like, hey, I met Andy Cohen, and he specializes in this, and he has this, and then it all puts it in an Excel sheet for you. So when you leave the show, you're ready to rock.
The best is back in those days when you had to do business cards. I would just go and grab a bunch of Cliffs, and when I'd go out that night to the bars,
he threw them all over the strip like they do the little hooker cards. Yeah,
snapping.
Yeah, just snapping them. So, Andy, you've told us some really good stories today, but we've got to ask you, we always do, who is someone that's been a misfit in your life, could be with us, not with us anymore, that you really respect?
So somebody who really, kind of a mentor, somebody who's let something.
Or inspired you on some level. Could be a book or a historical figure.
There's one, actually, you probably know the guy.
Okay.
He was my mentor in this business. His name was Tom Panapinto.
Okay.
This was in the stainless nickel alloy side. I was at OmniSource. He came to work at OmniSource, and he kind of taught me just the ways of. He's one of them. I have another one, another guy by the name of Chris Lambert, who ran a men's clothing store back home that I started working at when I was 15.
Okay.
Selling like suits and ties to the doctors and lawyers.
Oh, that explains why
he's the one who taught me. He's the one who taught me how to be a sales guy.
That's why you got that dapper style and smoothness. And
he's the one who taught me how to be a sales guy in terms of finding out what somebody wants and then getting them what they want, so then they trust you to understand what they want. But then Tom was my mentor in the scrap business, who just taught me the ways of taking care of your customer and traveling and being there and what it was. Those would be my two.
All right, those are all good misfits. Well, Andy, brother, man, I've really appreciated knowing you all these years. Appreciate what you do for the industry. You're doing a great job for ReMA. You've always been honorable, and that's something to say for being in the scrap industry.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Appreciate your loyalty and commitment. If you're not doing business with this guy, you need to be doing business with him.
Thank you.
And appreciate that. Appreciate you being on the pod. So, boys, this has been another episode of the Misfits Social Podcast. Let's go.
Misfits, we're a couple of misfits. What's the matter with misfits? That's where we fit in.